welcome everyone into our podcast that we have going on today. Good to see everyone. What the heck? There we go. All right, welcome everyone. Let's try this again. Welcome to the TD Sports Press podcast. We are back on this Tuesday night. We don't have the playoff rankings quite yet, so we'll be reacting that to the next episode. We're going to take a look at the AP poll. We'll kind of take a look at like my thoughts at the AP poll are, because there's a lot of thoughts that I would like to get to in the AP poll. The next thing that we will be discussing is a little bit more of the Lane Kiffin. Where are we at? Where is he going? We'll be talking about those coaching searches. And then we'll get into the Week 14 predictions. A lot of great football going to be played Rivalry week. We'll do the first half of the game. So for the most part, all the Friday games will be done today. We will have some the Saturday games will probably be done on a Thursday. So we're going to do the game tonight, though. We're going to get to Ohio State, Michigan tonight for sure. But like I said, thanks for everyone. I know it's a time for Thanksgiving. Thanks for everyone that makes this podcast part of their lives. It is awesome. I think we're at 30 subscribers now. That's awesome. We're at 14.9K for followers on TikTok. Thank you guys. It really does go a long way. It really does mean a lot for us. And hopefully one day we get big, and you guys would be the start of it. So like I said, if you guys could just subscribe, just check, make sure if you're not. There's just a little plus sign. Hit that sign. Hit the bell if you want to know when we go live. So that would be awesome as well. But with that being said, we're going to dive right into the AP poll. And I have a lot of takes with the AP poll. I know that the AP poll doesn't mean a lot, but for some of these writers and journalists that say they cover college football, the ballots they turned in were horrendous. The first thing I'm going to start off with, Georgia Tech and Pitt played on Saturday. Pitt won that game. The AP poll came out today, and Georgia Tech was a spot above Pitt. There were people that were ranking Georgia Tech higher than Pitt. How can you do that? They both have the same amount of losses, and Pitt won at Georgia Tech. It wasn't a neutral site. They went to Georgia Tech and won the football game, and pretty handily, I might say. So that is one thing that it doesn't make sense. How could you rank Georgia Tech higher than Pitt? It makes no sense to me, and neither half the AP poll just never makes sense to me. I don't know why. It just doesn't make sense. Moving on, the next thing that I'm trying to figure out in the AP poll is Oregon was ranked at number 5. I couldn't believe it. Oregon went up 2 spots. Oregon is above Texas Tech right now. So here's Oregon's resume right now. Their best win is number 24 USC. That's their best win. Texas Tech has like 3 wins better than that right now. They went on the road and beat Utah, and they beat BYU at home. That's 2 better wins. How can you rank, like in rankings, power rankings are different, but in rankings, how could you rank Oregon higher than Ole Miss, Georgia, Texas Tech? I was baffled when I saw that. The AP poll has finally became a joke. I know people have been saying it has been a joke. You are right. It's just taken me a lot of time to realize we don't have serious people doing these AP rankings. They base the AP rankings on the college football playoff rankings. I mean, think about it when the college football rankings come out. The first time they come out, they're probably looking at the AP poll. Oh, what does AP have? So yes, it does mean something to have an AP vote. And those are 2 things that make no sense to me of why is it that way. I can't figure that out. So moving on to our next portion of the show, the Lane Kiffin, the latest. A lot of talk about Lane Kiffin. If you guys didn't see over the weekend, On3 reported off from On3 that Lane Kiffin is offered $90 million from LSU, $25 million guaranteed in NIL for his team. And, I think if Lane Kiffin leaves, it's for the money. I don't think, now I know there's going to be some people that disagree with me. I don't think he can build the same empire that he has at Ole Miss that he can at LSU. Because LSU's not going to have that long of a leash. You have one bad year at LSU, you're out of there. Look at Brian Kelly, for example. Look at Ed Roseron, the coach at LSU before that. Les Miles before that. Like, you have one bad year at LSU, you're done. So people have been asking me on my lives, what's a better, I think Lane should stay. Why would Lane Kiffin leave a place that's going to put a statue of Lane Kiffin out there? I think he's 2 wins away from having the most all-time wins as a coach at Ole Miss. Why would you throw that all away to go to LSU for money? Like, we're going to see what Lane Kiffin is made of. Like, is he going to take the money from Florida? Is he going to take the money from LSU? I don't know. Like, it's a lot of money. I agree with you. But are you going to have more success at these schools? I mean, you have Ole Miss at number 6 on the cusp of a playoff run. Like, they're going to be set up well to make a little bit of a playoff run. When was the last time LSU, like 2019, was the last time they were relevant and everything? Florida. Florida hasn't made the playoff. They haven't been good since Tim Tebow. I mean, I was 5 years old when that was. So for Lane Kiffin, why would you want to leave Ole Miss? You are building something there. They're going to put a statue of you there in Mississippi. And you're going to go to LSU because they're going to offer you more money. Like, I get, like, but do you really need more money? I mean, you're well off. Your family's well off. It's not like you're making minimum wage at, Ole Miss. If I'm Lane Kiffin, I don't think I'm leaving. You build that program up to what it is now. You're on the cusp of a playoff run, and you're going to go take an LSU job? I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. For me personally, I'm not taking it. I'm staying at Ole Miss with the job that you built up. I mean, he made Ole Miss attractive. Like, it wasn't attractive before he was there, I would say, compared to some other schools. So that's what I would say. So now the next topic we're going to talk about, the ACC. Oh, my goodness. The ACC, man. Where do you even start talking about the ACC, the Athletic Coast Conference? It is a train wreck in the ACC right now. There are still 6 teams that can make the ACC championship. And I can tell you right now, if you guys didn't know, there's the 5 highest rated group of conferences. So it doesn't matter if you're a Power 4, it just matters where you are ranked. If Duke somehow finds a way to win the ACC will not get in the college football playoff. They won't. I think they'll take the ACC champ, or the AAC, excuse me, and the Sun Belt. So that would be North Texas and James Madison, or Tulane. I don't know how Tulane. Anyway, but that is something interesting. So that begs the question. Do I think the ACC will make the playoffs? There are so many different scenarios to make the playoffs. Here's what I think. Here are 3 teams that they went out to make the playoffs. Miami, Pitt, Virginia. And a couple of those teams need some help. The only way the ACC gets in are those 3 teams. I don't think Georgia Tech, I think they're mathematically out. I think it has to be one of those 3 teams. I can't believe we're having this conversation. I think we seriously might have a Power 4 conference not make the college football playoff, which would be, I think the ACC worst nightmare is if Duke wins the ACC. I couldn't think of a worse. Duke right now, if they win the ACC, would be like 7-5. Like, that is not what the ACC wants. That's not going to put them on a map. So the ACC, they're going to have to figure some stuff out. It's not looking good for them currently. Moving on. All right, let's get into some game predictions. Our last regular season game predictions. And talking about Lane Kiffin, we're going to talk about this game. Number 6, Ole Miss is going to Mississippi State on a Friday, 10 a.m. kickoff on ABC. Ole Miss is a 6.5-point favorite. I think they were off last week. Yep, they were off last week. Mississippi State, they probably played some FCS school if they weren't off. What do I think is going to happen in this game? This is at Mississippi State. This is an improved Mississippi State team, I would say. In terms of, I think they're going in the right place. They're a game away from bowl eligible. Ole Miss, man, they've been in the news lately, and we all know why. It's because of Lane Kiffin. What is he going to do? Where's their head been at since the bye week? Are they going to come in ready to go, or are they going to come in sluggish? Like, they're Mississippi State. We already have, a route to the playoffs. Even if they lose, they're probably going to get in. What kind of Mississippi State, Ole Miss team are we going to get? That's honestly what that game's going to come down to. Trinidad, he's going to have a big game. That Mississippi State secondary has struggled a little bit, so I think that they're going to have to get the pass game going. Mississippi State, I think to win this game, they have to average about 4 yards a carry to win this game, to keep this game close. So that's something that I'm definitely keeping my mind on as well. So with that being said, how do I see this game going down? Mississippi State also has a good quarterback. I think Ole Miss wins this game. I think it's a great game for Ole Miss. I think they're going to be ready. I think that I think it's a lot of noise, not a lot of bite to the dog, if that makes sense. I don't know if anyone get that. I thought it did. So I'll be very interested in what kind of Ole Miss team shows up Friday morning for the Egg Bowl, because this is a huge game for Mississippi State. I mean, they win this game, they're bowl eligible, and they have the right momentum going into next year. So we're going to see where Ole Miss's head's at. They had the press conference today, or the presser, as some people call it. So we'll be very interested to see what kind of Ole Miss team we're going to get for that day. So moving on to our next game. And this game would have had a lot of juice if Georgia Tech didn't lose last week. But anyway, we have number 4 Georgia playing number 16 Georgia Tech. Georgia is a 13.5-point favorite. Let's talk a little bit about Georgia Tech. They have zero defense. Zero defense. Haynes King is really good. Their running attack is really good. They have a good running back. That defense is horrible. That's why they have 2 losses, because they can't stop a cold nose right now. Like that is how bad Georgia Tech's defense is coming in. Georgia, on the other hand, man, I think Kirby Year has had so much fun coaching the Dogs this year. You can see on the sidelines. It's not the best team he's coached, but I think it's the most fun he's had coaching. This isn't the Georgia defense of old where they're getting pressure on the quarterback. They probably have a handful, if not 2 to 3 sacks on the year right. Georgia. And Norway, they're really good at defense, and that's crazy. This game, like I said, this game should be at Georgia Tech. This game is at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Don't ask me why. Why are we playing a rivalry game at Georgia Tech? I know both teams are probably making $1 million playing this at an NFL site, but why in the world would Georgia? I don't know. Rivalry games should be played at home sites, but I digress. So I think Georgia's going to win this game. I think they're going to outmatch Georgia Tech everywhere. This Georgia Tech team is not as good as they were last year. They just got the benefit of having a really easy schedule in the ACC this year. And it showed. I mean, they got beat by Pitt and they got beat by NC State, or it was Wake Forest, one of the 2 teams. No, they got beat by NC State. So, yeah, this is not their coach, Brent Key, is in a lot of coaching searches. Is that getting? I don't know. This is just, if Georgia Tech wins this they might be on the outside looking in at a playoff spot. I would have to see it to believe it, I would say. But, yeah, this game's Friday night. It's a rivalry game. Anything could happen. I mean, Georgia Tech and Georgia, I think, had one of the most impressive games last year. I think it was a 7 overtime game, if I remember right, and that's with the 2-point conversion. So that's what makes that more impressive. So I think that Georgia wins this game. So I think that's going to be a good one. Moving on. All right. Then we got, man, I'm going to probably lose some followers after this. We have number 3 Texas A&M going to number 17 Texas. And what a game this was last year. Texas A&M, all they had to do was win the winner, all they had to do was go win, and they're in the SEC championship last year. Texas went on the road and win. And so let's talk a little bit about Texas. Texas, they played Arkansas. Arch Manning has looked a lot better the last half of the season. I don't think a lot of people are giving him the actual credit for that. He has gotten better. I think he threw for over 350 yards against Arkansas. I know it's Arkansas, but, you look at his stats the first 4 or 5 games of the year. That is impressive. And people should be giving him his flowers for that, in my opinion. I don't know why they're not. And then you got Texas A&M. Texas A&M is undefeated. They're coming off a bye week. Or no, they played Samford. I think they played Samford. And, they played South Carolina. They were down 30-0 at halftime and came back and won that game 31-30. Marcel Reed's in the Heisman. Texas A&M has everything going for them. And now they're going to Texas Stadium to play Texas. How do I see this game going down? I've been going back and forth on this game. I think Texas A&M is going to go on the road and beat Texas. I think Texas A&M, they overlooked South Carolina. I think they really did overlook South Carolina forward to this game here. I think that they want to get revenge. They know what Texas did on their field last year. If you guys didn't know, Texas went to the locker room after they won the game, and they went back out and started stomping the Texas A&M logo. I think Texas A&M is going to win this game on the road. I believe in this team. I believe in the maturity of this team. I think this team is different from the previous Texas or A&M teams. I think Mike Elko is a great head coach. I think they're going to be able to run the football. Texas has a good defense, so that is something to keep in mind. But I think Texas A&M is going to come out and win this game. I think it's going to be a great game. Either program can win this game. I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm going to stay with Texas A&M. I think they're one of the best teams in the country, if not the best team right now. But if Texas beats them, we might have to have a conversation if Texas should be in the college football playoff. Not sure that we're ready for that conversation quite yet. They're still a ways away. They got to have some stuff go their way. They need like Tennessee to beat Vandy and, Utah to lose to Kansas. But if Texas wins, I think there's going to be a conversation about Texas making the playoffs, and it should be. Because I think Texas A&M, they have a strong case of being the number 1 seed right now. So that's something that I would definitely be keeping my eyes on. I think Texas A&M wins this on the road, and they go to Atlanta for the SEC championship game. Next game on, we got the Territorial Cup, Arizona and Arizona State. Arizona is probably the most underrated team in the country right now. Arizona, they have 3 losses. They got beat by BYU, Iowa State, and they got beat by Houston. But the last, 3 or 4 weeks, Arizona's been a really good football team. And I wouldn't be shocked, because this is taped before the college football rankings. I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona was in the college football rankings this week. Wouldn't surprise me at all. To Arizona State, Killing Dillingham's got a great culture here. They got Jeff Sims as their starting quarterback. They struggled with Colorado till the 4th quarter. So that I find that very interesting. They kind of did struggle a little bit. So how do I see this game going down? Arizona's a 1.5-point favorite over Arizona State. And I am going to take Arizona to win this football game. I love the way Arizona's offense has looked. Arizona State, I think, might struggle with this Arizona defense. That Arizona defense is much improved from the start of the year. I think this is going to be a great game. If Sam Leviett was the starting quarterback for Arizona State, I would probably pick them. But, Arizona State struggled with Colorado for about 3 quarters, and then they pulled away. So you got to give them props for that. But the way I look at this game, man, I think it's a great spot for Arizona. I think Arizona's going to win this football game. I think that they're going to. This is a momentum, game for them, a rivalry game. I think a lot of people are just going to pick Arizona State based off killing Dillingham, which is fair. But I really think that Arizona matches up well, and they're going to win this football game. I think they will. So, excuse me. So I think the Territorial Cup is going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to this game. This is another great Friday night football game. So. Now we're going to start the toxicity of the page going on to the next game. We have the game. Number 1, Ohio State going to Ann Arbor to play number 18, Michigan. Man, have we seen this before? Ohio State, a huge favorite, 9.5 points on the road. And have we not seen this before? I think Michigan last year was a 24-point dog. I know it was in the 20s, and they beat Ohio State. They have beat Ohio State the last 4 years. Maybe it's 5 at this. I know it's at least 4. Hasn't looked good for the Buckeyes. I will say. I think it's 4. Yeah, 4 years. Can Ryan Day finally get the monkey off his bat of losing to Michigan? Is this going to be the year? They rested. I know they said they were hurt. They rested Cordell Tate and Jeremiah Smith. They are going to be healthy, ready to go. They got a great defense in Matt Patricia. Can Michigan and Bryce Underwood find a way to sneak this game out? I've been getting the questions. Who do I think is going to win? Who do I think is going to win the game? Ohio State. I'm sorry. They are going to pull it off. I might be wrong, Michigan fans. I hate to do this. I know the trends. It just feels like they're due. Like Ohio State, I think is really good program. And you can say they haven't played this or that. I think that Matt Patricia's defense is going to give Bryce Underwood fits. I think Bryce Underwood's going to throw 2 interceptions, maybe 3. I think he's going to struggle with the speed of the Ohio State defense. I think Ohio State's going to win this football game. I know I'm probably going to lose a lot of Michigan fans after this prediction. I think Ohio State beats Michigan. I really believe in Ohio State. I think it's going to be a great game. Moving on, our last game. It's not really a rivalry game, but we're just going to go ahead and do it for Utah. Number 12, Utah, will be going to Kansas on a Friday morning and playing Kansas. Utah is a 12.5-point favorite. Utah and Kansas State was probably one of the best football games of the year so far. Kansas State, if you didn't know last week, ran for 487 yards and still found a way to lose the game. One of the craziest things I've seen, like Utah found a way and won 51-45. Absolutely crazy football game. Is it going to happen? What's going to happen here? I think Utah wins this game. Utah needs to be perfect. They have to have style points in this game to make the college football playoff. I have a hard time believing them making the playoff. I have a hard time. They're on the outside looking in. They're not going to make the Big 12 championship unless madness hits. So that's what I'm currently seeing with this right now. But Kansas, Jalen Daniels, he's a senior, so Kansas is trying to set him out, and this is a trap game for Utah. I think. I don't know. We'll see. This might be Kyle Whittingham's last year. We'll see if that's the case or not in the coming days. So, like I said, I think that looking at this game, I really like Utah to go on the road and kind of send Kyle Whittingham the right way. They might get into the playoffs. I don't think they will. So, with that being said, that is our last game of the night. We'll be back live. I think Thursday's our plan. We'll be back live on Thursday. It's kind of a weird week with Thanksgiving and travel schedules and all that. We might be at a football game on Saturday. I'm not going to say where. There's some stuff in the works. We might be getting a field pass for a game on Saturday. Haven't got the official word yet. We should be getting that word tomorrow. So we might be getting some great content for you guys. So hopefully that happens. But like I said, guys, it's Thanksgiving. I'm really thankful for all the followers that we have. I know it might not be a lot on YouTube, 29 or 30 subscribers, whatever it is. But we do really like or love every single one that follows the channel, whether that's on our TikTok or our YouTube. So appreciate everyone. And with that being said, I think we're going to hop off here. Have a great Thanksgiving week.